Yo people, wagwan, welcome back to Ron's Tech Hub, and in this one I'm just going to be giving you my impressions of the Nokia T20 tablet. This is a 10-inch, 10.1-inch tablet, and so far it's been very good. But let me get into this one. So first and foremost, let's have a quick rundown of the specs on GSM Arena. So the highlights are it's actually a 10.4-inch tablet, as you can see here, 1200 by 2000. It has an 8 megapixel rear camera, 3 or 4 gigabytes of RAM. I have the 4 gigabyte version with 64 gigabyte storage and the Unison T610 processor, 8200 milliamp hour battery, decent size. There is a 4G version, but I wasn't able to actually find the 4G version here in the UK, so I went for the Wi-Fi only version, which is perfectly fine for me. It was released and announced last year, October 2021, and it was released in November. So not that it's only a year old. It's still on Android 11, which is a bit strange because Nokia is typically quite good with their Android updates. So I'm still waiting for the Android 12 and now Android 13 as well. I think they should probably just skip Android 12, jump straight onto Android 13, and that would actually be the two upgrades that they promised on the box. Type of screen, it's an LCD, gets up to 400 nits, 10.4 inch, I've mentioned that already. Scratch is Android 11, a Unison. So let me just mention this processor here, right? I am one of those people, processor in my device is not a Snapdragon processor. I get very worried. So when I saw this, I looked at the specs and thought, wow, this tablet is actually quite decent. But when I looked at the spec sheet and saw that it's not a Snapdragon chip, that is not a Snapdragon, let's say 480 or 650 or 695 or whatever Snapdragon chip they would have used that has comparable performance to the Unisoc T610, I was kind of worried. Now, I'm not a person who games on my tablet. I never ever game on my mobile devices. I only use them for media consumption, for reading, for watching videos, movies, YouTube, TV shows, so on and so forth. Again, I was worried. So far, I've had this tablet now for about 2-3 weeks, and well, about 2-3 weeks, yeah. And this processor, this chip, the Unisoc T610 12 nanometer chip, has been very reliable, very good. I play most of my stuff in what's that video player called? Let me just have a quick look. It's called MX Player. That's where I play most of my videos. And as you can see, even switching between apps, there's not any noticeable slowdown. Again, I've only got 2 apps open, so let me just open a few more. Maybe let's open YouTube. Let's open the Xbox app. That's quite okay. Let's open MX Player. Let me go back to home. Let's open Google Drive. Let's open Crunchyroll. Let's open, I'm not going to open Nova TV for obvious reasons. Let's open the PS app. Let's open, let me see what's in work. No, don't want that. Don't want to open any of my banking apps. Shopping, let's open eBay. Let's open Amazon. Let's open my Nectar app. Let's open PayPal. And as you can see now, these things are not, they haven't opened up properly. But all of these are still in RAM. So that 4 gigabytes of RAM is doing something. So let me look at the very first thing, which was Chrome and settings. Let's see how many apps I can open before it kicks that off. I haven't even counted it, to be fair. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12. All right. And the first one was Google Chrome. What else did I need to? I can open PayPal. I can open my Google Keep Notes. I can open my Digicel app. That's for the Caribbeans out there. You should know what that one is. The GiftGaff app. I can open my Secure VPN. Oof, so many things. I can open my camera app, my Topo camera app that I do stuff in my house. My AWS, so that's Amazon Web Services console. This is not the Amazon app. I've opened that before. Let's see what has been closed. Right, Google Chrome is still open, settings still open. Yeah, it's all still open. So the 4 gigabytes that's in here is doing quite well. I'm going to clear all of these actually. Let's clear all of them. Let me go back into Chrome. Yep, spec sheet still there. Everything still works fine. So the 4 gigabytes of RAM in here is actually doing quite well in my opinion. I have the 64 gigabyte version and 4 gigabytes of RAM. eMMC 5.1 is the storage that it has. It does have a memory card slot, and I believe it's a 32 or 64 gigabyte memory card in here, so which is very good, very handy, very easy for moving things around. I've already mentioned the flash. Bluetooth, okay, I'm not going to mention anything else. The main thing on here is it has Bluetooth and it has a headphone jack. So the 3 things I really like about this so far: USB-C is a very cheap tablet. I actually got mine for like £70 because I have a friend that works at Argos and I had a voucher for my birthday. So USB-C connection, but USB 2.0 speeds, which is perfectly fine for this. It's kind of slow charging. It's only 15 watts, but that's perfectly fine, I think. We have a headphone jack, as I've mentioned, which is very, very handy. We have our Bluetooth, which is standard, I guess. We have the memory card slot, which I've mentioned. Stock Android. That's the next thing I really like about this. Nokia typically tends to do stock Android. There's no bloatware on here. There's nothing that's overly bloatware-y. The only things I did get on here were just the typical wallet app and the typical Google apps. Nothing special, nothing over the top, which I really do appreciate, because having only 64 gigabytes of storage, I don't want half of that taken up by apps I don't ever use. So I don't have any social media whatsoever. So I don't need any social media apps on here. So this worked out well for me. Only gripe I have about this tablet was something that's purely down to my fault. It's my preference, to be fair. This tablet, I feel, is too big for me now. Now, I love 10-inch tablets or watching things on, but when you're trying to move around, you're trying to stick a tablet in your jacket pocket when going to work, coming from work, on the train, on the bus, walking home, whatever the case is, I believe 8 inches is a better size to have. So this is nothing at all to do with the tablet itself. This is purely down to my preference and me choosing the wrong tablet, because luckily enough for me, Nokia also has the Nokia T10. So this is a Nokia T10, and I have the specs. I'm going to bring the specs up here. So this is the tablet I actually want to get. The Nokia T10 is an 8-inch version of this tablet. The screen resolution is not as great. The only one I've been able to find in the UK is one with 3 gigabytes of RAM and 32 gigabytes of storage. It would be very, very nice if I could get the 4 gig version as well, but I think I can manage, because again, the only things I really do with my tablet are video, reading, maybe some music here and there, but nothing serious, never any gaming. I think I could manage with this. So what I might do at some point is to get hold of that tablet if I can, return this one if I can, and keep the 8-inch version. Now, the 8-inch version does have a slightly slower chip. This is the Unisoc T606. And if we just go by pure logic, we can assume that the T610 is faster. However, the 8-inch version has Android 12, because that was only released and announced in 2022 August, which for me is very good. I love stock Android. Again, Android 12 is going to be a big benefit to me, because I like the newer features. I like the way it looks in some cases. Yeah, that's it from me. Impressions are positive. This tablet has not let me down. There is one issue which I have found that comes up quite a lot. When I put this tablet to sleep for an extended period of time, it jumps off the Wi-Fi, and weirdly enough, there is no Wi-Fi in the settings here. And even if I try to edit and I try to look for the Wi-Fi option, there's none here, which was a bit strange to me. But if you go into settings, you can actually see Wi-Fi from the network and internet section, which it works perfectly fine. There's no issue with it. But it would have been nice to see that section that has the Wi-Fi. I would say to Nokia, very, very, very good tablet. Very good tablet. If you can, Nokia, just for my sake, move away from the Unisoc chips. But to be fair, they've been perfectly fine so far. And move over to like a Snapdragon 480 or a Snapdragon 6, like a low-powered Snapdragon 6 series. But again, this tablet was under £200 brand new, and so is the 8-inch version as well. I would go for the 8-inch version if I could go back, for the reasons I've mentioned before. But both versions seem to be perfectly capable of doing the typical day-to-day browsing, YouTube, movies, Netflix here and there, and you should be fine. Very good tablet, very good build. I don't use the camera on these things, but for video call it was fine. I did test it and it was okay. There was nothing special, but it was usable. Dual speaker setup, headphone jack, it worked quite well. I think for someone who isn't a crazy mobile tablet gamer person, this would be a really good device, a really good Christmas present. And the fact that you get, I believe, 2 years of software updates. So this is, for example, on Android 12, let's say, you will get Android 13 and Android 14. And I believe you get 3 years of security updates. I don't think any other company does that really well other than Nokia now. Samsung did do it quite well in the past. Apple does it amazingly well. But let's be real, we know what the Android ecosystem is like for updates. It's not the best thing for most manufacturers, unless your name is Google, and nowadays Samsung and maybe Nokia in some instances. Those are my impressions. I like it. I think you should definitely buy one. Performance has not been an issue, even though it's a Unisoc. I don't know which processor, again, from Snapdragon this would be comparable to. I could easily check, but again, this is what you get. So it works well, is all I can say. It works well. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe. There are a lot more videos coming on random technology things. This is one of them. I have the Raspberry Pi Pico, and a lot of videos coming with that, showing you guys how to program in Python using the Raspberry Pi, Pico, and MicroPython and Thonny, the IDE. So stay tuned. Hopefully you guys like that stuff. All right, cool. Peace.